Hello and welcome to Relatable Code. In this video, we're going to talk about abstract classes in Kotlin. So let's get started. Now, abstract classes are very similar to open classes in many aspects in Kotlin, and I'm going to show you how. Okay, remember the library item open class that we created in the previous video? Well, that was an open class. Abstract classes are also some type of classes that you can extend from other classes in Kotlin. So here, instead of using the open keyword, we're going to use the abstract keyword. Okay, and I'm going to show you the difference between abstract classes and open classes here in this context. As you can see, we can define open functions inside abstract classes, but I'm going to show you the abstract functions. Okay, let's copy that keyword and paste it here. Okay, we already have an error, and that error is a function display info with body cannot be abstract. Okay, the first difference between abstract methods and open methods is that abstract methods don't have an implementation. Okay, so I have to remove this implementation, and the reason for that is when you're using abstract functions, you have to provide the implementations yourself in every place or in every class that extends this library item. So here, for example, in our magazine, we're not overriding display info, but we have to now because it's now an abstract class and an abstract function with respect to display info. Okay, so if I enter my magazine class, I have several options to override this method. I can either write display info like that, or if I erase it, I can click on Control and O, and I get this window. Okay, in this window, as you can see, we have several methods we can override. We need the method for display info. If I double click on that, I get an override function for this display info similarly. Okay, and as you can see, we have to provide an implementation. That's because we're using the abstract function. Okay, with respect to book, we're already modifying or overriding the display info function. If I remove that, I get the same error that I have to implement the function display info. Okay, I can do that from here as well. If I hover over book and I click on implement members, I get display info as well. I can click on OK, and now I'm overriding that method. Okay, so that's the first difference between abstract classes and open classes. And the reason we use open or abstract classes in this case is when you just want to have a certain blueprint in a class, and you want to provide the implementation of that blueprint in every class which implements library item in this case. Okay, so we don't have a default implementation like with open functions and open classes. We have a blueprint, and we have to override that blueprint if it is an abstract function. Okay. Now, as for the second difference between abstract classes and open classes in Kotlin, you can't actually instantiate an abstract class. Okay, so I have library item here. If I try to go to my main method and I write val library item equals library item like that, I get an error. I cannot create an instance of an abstract class. Okay, if this were an open class like this, let's modify that. And as you can see, another difference is you can't have abstract methods inside open classes, but you can have open methods. You have to provide an implementation, of course, because open methods need an implementation. Abstract classes only need, well, pretty much the function's signature, as they say, like this. Here, you don't have an implementation, just a signature, and a signature is basically just what that function is, or in this case, what that function returns. Our display info doesn't return anything. It's just a normal function. It doesn't return a string or anything. So here, as you can see, we only have the blueprint of display info. But if I'm trying to use an open class and an open method or an open function for display info, I have to provide an implementation like this. But now, as you can see, I no longer have an error on library item. The only error is that I didn't provide an author, a price, and a title. Let's do that like this. And our author is also a string. Let's just stick with empty strings for now. And our price is a double as well. So I can create instances of open classes, but I can't do that with abstract classes pretty much. Okay? But now the question asks itself, basically. When do we use open classes and when do we use abstract classes? I'm going to give you valid use cases for both. Okay? Let's have this library item abstract so that we can have our subclasses provide an implementation of this display info. We're going to force them to provide an implementation so that each class can have its own implementation of this method. Okay, let's remove the to-do from here. If you try to compile your code and you have a to-do like this, you will get an error. Okay, let's remove it from here. You can provide any implementation you want, it doesn't really matter. The same goes for our book. Okay, we can have our book without the price. And we can't instantiate abstract classes as we've discussed, so we have to delete this from here. But we can still instantiate our subclasses, book and magazine. Okay, our book's display info will now print out the title and the author, and the magazine's display info will print out the title and the author and the price. Okay, they just observe the blueprint from the superclass and they provide their own implementations for that function. Okay. Well, what about a valid use case for open classes? Let's say we have an open class for our customer, like this. Create an open class. Customer, which has a name, an email, and a phone as well. So we write val name string, val email, string, val phone, string. And we have an or a function inside this class, and it's called open send notification. Okay. This function serves a purpose to send a notification for our customers. In case, for example, we have some certain discounts in our library and we want to inform our customers of that discount. Okay. So as a default implementation for send notification, we can write print line sending an email to $email for $name. Okay, that's the default implementation of send notification. And let's say we have two types of customers in our system. We have a standard customer and we have a premium customer. So let's create a class standard customer. It's going to extend our customer open class with a constructor, of course, and we have to provide a name, an email, and a phone as well. So we have name string, email string, and phone string as well. We have to pass them to the constructor of the open class so that we can instantiate a subclass standard customer like this. We pass name, email, and phone. Okay, that will be our standard customer. What about our premium customer? This is a second, not an open class, it's a normal class. It's called premium customer. Let's just copy this. And inside the implementation, we want to override the send notification function. Okay, we can press Ctrl O and click on enter. And now by default, if we override the send notification, as you can see, the super method is called, which just triggers this block of code. But until now, you can notice something. The override fun is grayed out. And the reason why it's grayed out is because it basically overrides nothing. You're still using the same implementation that exists in your superclass. Okay? But with respect to premium customers, I want to send them notifications to their email and their phones as well. So I can do that like this. I can write print line. Let's copy that. Sending a message to phone for customer's name. Okay. Now, by default, our customer has the ability to receive a notification through his or her email. Okay. And that's what happens with our standard customer. But with respect to our premium customer, we want to provide an extra implementation for send notification. So we're not removing the functionality of that method. We're just adding to it. And in addition to sending an email, we're sending a message to their phone as well. And let's see how this works. In our main method, let's comment these out. We're not going to need them for now. Let's create a standard customer. Name, David, email, and if you want to know, I press Control P so that I can get this suggestion if you want. Okay. Okay, email David at email.com, and his phone is, I don't know, some country code and some random phone number. With respect to premium customer, we can create one like this. We can name him customer, premium customer, like that. Okay. Let's call standard customer dot send notification and premium customer dot send notification as well. Let's run our main function. And there you have it. Oh, they're both named David. Let's change David's name to Joe. Joe at gmail.com. Like that. Rerun our function. It happens. It happens. And as you can see, with respect to David, our standard customer, we're only sending him an email. But Joe, our premium customer, is receiving an email and a message as well. Okay? And that's basically it for open and abstract classes in Kotlin. If you find my examples to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.